Sell the outcome, not the process. Customers don't care how you do it. They care about what they're going to get. They care about the transformation. Don't say, we offer this product, we offer this service. Say, here's exactly what your situation will look like after we're done. Don't sell the trip, sell the vacation, paint the picture, and make it real for them. Let's talk about strategic salesmanship on the Strategic Boardroom. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Strategic Boardroom. It's very good to see you. We are here talking about strategic salesmanship secrets, especially if you have a local business. And this is going to be really granular for you because if you have a local business and you're getting leads but not customers, we're going to talk about how to fix it this spring. We're heading into the spring. We're getting ready to, things are warming up. And spring is when you bring in more leads. And many businesses can experience that. But the problem with that is that most businesses, especially local businesses, they waste their leads because they have a horrible sales approach, and their sales approach doesn't match the buyer behavior. And because many business owners don't take the time to understand buying psychology, they end up getting all these leads in and being really ineffective in the sales process. And that's something we talk about in Strategic Boardroom. So if you have a local business, and if you are getting more calls right now, but you're not getting more customers, you're not alone, right? You're getting more leads, but you're not converting. And this time of year, many local businesses do see an increase in leads, but they don't see a proportional increase in sales. Well, why is that? Because as you know, leads don't actually necessarily equal customers. And salesmanship is what bridges that gap between the lead and the fulfillment. Remember the 4 core functions of business? You've heard me talk about this before. The lead generation, the sales, the operations, and the accounting. Salesmanship is what bridges that gap between the lead generation and the operation. Salesmanship is what happens when the person who raises their hand and shows some interest in your product or service is then walked across that bridge and they're handed off to operations. All right. So today we're going to talk about how to convert more of the opportunities that are already in front of you without spending a ton more money on marketing. So we're going to talk about 3 parts of the salesmanship framework to win more customers right now. So here's a basic truth. So the basic truth that you've got, and this is the basic truth that maybe you don't want to hear, is that you have to determine if you have a lead problem or if you have a conversion problem. And this is where you have KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators, right? Or just simply metrics. You're tracking what happens, kind of like all of the numbers in baseball. You have your RBI and the base hits, and they track everything, right? They literally track everything in baseball, right? It's kind of the same thing in your business. You have to track not everything, but your key performance indicators. You have to track the number of leads that you're getting. You should be tracking something called lead source, so you know where your best leads are coming from. So if you get leads from 3 or 4 different lead sources, you know where your best leads are coming from. You know where to pour some fuel on the ones that are actually working and starve the ones that are not. And you need to know your conversion rate. So not just your overall conversion rate, but the conversion rate also based on the lead source, right? So even though you might be getting a lot more leads from one lead source, but you have very low conversions, that may mean that you're just not getting very qualified leads from that lead source. So, but if you are getting fewer leads from this lead source, but you're converting at 60 or 70 or 80%, well, let's figure out a way to pour gas on that, right? So if you have better conversion rates over different lead sources, you know where to put more resources. And that just makes sense. You don't want to try to prop up your losers with your winners. You want to chase after your winners. But for the sake of argument and for the sake of this session, let's pretend that you don't have a lead problem. You have a conversion problem. And that is a problem, especially right now, because spring buyers have different motivations. Spring buyers have different behaviors. Spring buyers are motivated, but they're also shopping. They're also comparing, and they're moving quickly once they find what they want. If you don't stand out in the sales process, you automatically lose. Not because you're not good, but because someone else communicated with them better and got to them a lot faster. And that's going to bring us to our first thing is speed to sale. You might have heard this adage before, but money loves speed. And the first business that responds is the one that usually wins. Not the cheapest, not the best, it's the fastest. If you're waiting hours or many times days and sometimes weeks to respond, you're making your customer wait hours or days or week to hear from you. If that is what's going on, you've already lost. So your immediate goal is to stop those leaks, respond to them within minutes whenever entirely possible. And this should also be a metric that you track, like how long it takes to respond to a call. Remember, if your prospect is not talking to you, they're likely talking to someone, okay? And that could be your competition. So speed to sale is absolutely crucial. So if you fix this one thing alone, I will tell you this, you're probably going to end up fixing a lot of other problems which become apparent in your sales process. It wasn't long ago that I was working with a client and they were having some problems and they were getting plenty of leads, but their conversions were horrible. Well, I come to find out the person that was in charge of calling those leads and getting in front of those leads was not doing their job. And they didn't have a real good way of tracking that. Well, guess what? Once they figured that out, now they started fixing other things that were going on. So again, generally, if you can fix this, you're going to start to see a lot of other holes that are going on in your sales process. So now that you've sped up, now you got to slow down. Okay. You're like, okay, speed up to slow down. But the thing is it's about asking better questions. And most business owners, they get that call, they want to jump straight into their pitch. And that is a mistake. Instead, you got to slow down, romance them a little bit. Like, what makes you reach out right now? What have you tried? Have a conversation with them. And when you understand the problem, like asking them, what would an ideal outcome look like for you? What would a great outcome be for you? And when you understand the problem better than your competitor, you become the obvious choice. One of the things that I talk about, and right now for the people who are in the school community, I'll talk about that here in the end, but one of the things I talk about is a discovery call. And a discovery call is basically just qualifying them. It's qualifying them up front to say, about how soon are they looking to address this issue? That's a big thing, is if you can ask them that question right out of the gate, how soon are you looking to address this? Don't assume because they're calling now that they want the problem solved now. Yes, would it break your heart if someone called you in the spring, but they wanted to wait until early summer to get it done? And even if they prepaid? Of course not, right? That would make a lot of sense. Ask them how soon they're looking to address the issue, because if they are thinking about, well, maybe sometime 3 years from now, give them some information and then be efficient and move forward. Now they're breathing your atmosphere because you treated them well. What about what kind of budget are they working with to solve this problem? That budgetary question is absolutely crucial to get them to figure out if this is even someone that you need to be talking to, or do you need to send them somewhere else? And that's really important. So what kind of budget are you working with? What kind of problem? What is this costing you? What do you have set aside to fix this problem? And sometimes you need to educate them a little bit in terms of what this might actually cost. Who are all the decision makers? This is incredibly important, especially if this is a high ticket item. If you've got a large ticket sale, and for example, if you're selling a boat or you're selling even a timeshare or something that would be costly, something I'm not using the word expensive, but I'm using the word costly, something that would be higher amounts of dollars. If we're talking about going in and buying a stick of gum, you don't need all the decision makers. But if someone is buying a Cadillac Escalade, you might need to say, okay, who else is involved in this decision? If someone is buying a life insurance policy and it's going to be an extra $3,000 a month, who are all the decision makers that I need to be brought in here? So it's important to ask the decision makers during that discovery call, during that qualification. And this is one of my favorite questions. Have you ever worked with someone in my industry before? And the reason why this question is so powerful is because regardless of the answer, this allows you to pivot into telling them how you work and how you operate and how you can deliver their future perfect, how you can deliver that ideal outcome for them. So, have you ever worked with someone in my industry before? No, I never have. Cool. Let me tell you how I work. Have you ever worked with someone in my industry before? Yeah, actually. How did that experience go? Oh, it went great. Okay, cool. Well, let me tell you how I worked. Oh, it was horrible. Okay, well, that's a shame. Well, let me tell you how I work. Regardless of the answer, it opens it up to say, cool. Well, let me tell you how I plan to deliver this future outcome for you. That's going to be ideal. The last question that I ask is I ask permission to ask for a referral. Notice my verbiage here. I'm not asking for a referral. I'm asking permission for the referral. So what I'm saying is I'm asking permission in advance to say, hey, is it okay if down the road I ask you for maybe someone who might need this product or service, whatever it is you do? Or is it okay if I can deliver this, if I deliver well for you and give you the ideal outcome, would it be okay if maybe you could think of someone that you could send my way and I can give them the similar outcome? Make sense? Now, again, you got to remember to do it because it's got to be part of a checklist. But this is a great opportunity to get them thinking. And now you can precede this with, hey, I get a lot of business from referrals. Would it be okay if I asked you in the future for someone who might want the same outcome? Great, right? No one says no to that. So the last thing is to sell the vacation, not the trip. You want to sell the outcome, not the process. I've been saying this all along, but customers don't care how you do it. They care about what they get. They care about the transformation on the other side. They don't care that the car has 500 horsepower. They care that it can go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And that it sounds really cool when they rev the engine, right? People don't go to the store to buy a drill. They go to the store because they need a hole in the wall. Okay. So instead for you, you don't want to say, hey, I offer this service, or hey, I offer this thing. Say, hey, here's exactly what your situation will look like after we're done. Paint the picture and then make it very real for them in their life. So here's a couple of examples. Is instead of saying, I can come and give you a quote, you're going to say, hey, I can schedule a full assessment and show you how to fix this problem permanently as you head into the summer. Okay, that's way better. It's future pacing them. That's what it's actually called, future pacing. Instead of saying we offer packages, say, okay, well, based on what you told me, here's the fastest way to get the results that you want. Big old fat check mark on that one. Okay. Instead of saying, let me know if you want to move forward. No, don't let me know. Say instead, you want to say, let's go ahead and get this scheduled so you can have this handled before things get busy. Again, you're future pacing them. This is super clear, and clarity plus confidence is what's going to equal conversions. And that is salesmanship. So if you're unclear, you're going to lose trust. If you're hesitant, you're going to lose momentum. Your job is to make the decision easy for them. And if you've got such a good offer, we talked about this yesterday, actually, but if you've got such a good offer where they're going to feel stupid to say no, that's how you know you're going to easily sell this to them. Again, because you're super, super clear, you've got really strong confidence, you know that this product or service will solve their problem. That's what's going to equal conversions. So let's put the fries in the bag on this session. First and foremost, you have got to respond faster than you normally would. If you're taking, just assume that might be a problem. So respond faster. Next, you've got to, again, ask better questions. You got to slow down, man. Slow down. Ask better questions and ask better questions than you normally do. Get inquisitive. Get very curious. Look at those 4 questions that I asked, but have conversations with them and let them tell you what it is that they need. And then the last one is, again, guide the customer to the decision, right? Sell the vacation. Don't you're not punching them in the mouth with birthday cake. Sell the vacation and let them know, like, this is exactly what you can expect on the other side. Don't sell the trip, sell the vacation. Let them know what their future perfect is going to look like when they work with you. So right now, there is a ton more opportunity in front of you than you think, but opportunity doesn't turn into revenue all by itself. Salesmanship is that bridge. So if you want help refining your sales process to convert more without working more, reach out and you can head over to, this is exactly the sort of stuff that we head over to that we discover, that we talk about in the Time Wealthy .vip. So if you'd like to head over to the school community, this is the stuff that we talk about. So This is everything I got. Again, remember, this is where you guys separate yourself. This has got to be your core philosophy. Again, your business doesn't need more leads. They just need better conversions. And this is what's going to make a big deal for you in your conversions. You probably don't need more staff. You probably just need to convert the ones that you are actually already getting. So again, if you're a business owner who's struggling in their business and you could use help with the strategy, whether it's lead generation strategy, sales strategy, head on over to timewealthy.vip and I'll meet you guys in the boardroom. Take good care.